It's a great mess. It's a great mess.
It is.
No pun intended. Great writing.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the moment, great writing. So the question is one of allocating plot to chapter. So our saying is just enough story for each chapter. Not too much, not too little. Let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us this chapter in a sentence? So we're going to do one thing a little bit differently, which is we're going to definitely start all of our rounds with an MCS. So for those of you who don't know, an MCS is a 90-second version of your story told aloud. And it's very hard, much harder than it seems. A lot of people, when they first start about this, won't get to 90 seconds. Now, I know Kim has been working on this a long time, so I think she can hit the 90-second target without any problem. But whenever you're ready, give it a go, please.
Okay, so the demoness Ammit is heartbroken that she's no longer believed to be the devourer in the ancient Egyptian underworld. And she's even more upset that now she has to live in the realm, which is a spiritual afterlife for anyone now considered myth. She tries to find new purpose, but the gods do little to help her due to their longstanding prejudice against demons. So feeling powerless, useless, lonely, and at her lowest, Ammit is approached by the mysterious goddess Lamashtu, who claims she wants to help demons gain equality among the gods. Desperate for community, Ammit joins. It starts off well enough. She meets some demon friends and learns that she's way more powerful than the gods have been letting on. It turns out that her soul devouring powers didn't just work on mortals, it works on gods as well. Unfortunately, she doesn't realize that Lamashtu only wanted to exploit this newfound power until it's too late and Lamashtu takes control of the realm for herself. Desperate to prove to everyone, and more importantly herself, that she's not a monster, Ammit tries to undo the chaos she helped cause. Using her voice rather than her destructive soul-devouring power, she convinces the gods and demons to work together to fight against Lamashtu. Their fight is successful, showing that gods and demons can live together, but more importantly, Ammit discovers her self-worth and her purpose.
Good. Excellent. Thank you, Kim. So when we do our MCS, it goes through 4 stages. The first stage is completeness. So to check for completeness, we just see if there's something, a loose end that we need to question or something that's not fitting together. So anyone have a question? Let me just do a demo question. So Kim, where does the story peak?
When Ammit finds out she can devour the souls of gods and devours a god's soul.
Good. So to recap, the story peaks when she realizes she has this new power that she's been prevented from using all along.
Mm-hmm.
All right, our second step is conciseness. If it fits into 90 seconds, great, as long as it's complete. Our third stage is stable. So you've been working on this for a little bit of time now.
Yeah.
So it sounds pretty stable to me. And then our last step is dramatic. Okay, is this dramatic? It's getting there.
Yeah.
Now, part of this is you are telling it to a group of people you're familiar with, and we've heard it, not enough, but quite a bit. So you want to prepare for telling it to another audience, agent, some people at a book signing. So drama's fine. So perfection, good job. Oops, fireworks. Thank you. So why we tell this is to keep Kim's writing aligned with her overall narrative. So before you sit down to write, every time, right, Justin, we tell our MCS. And the immediate benefit is writer's block, not guaranteed to disappear, but it's heartily diminished. And then more importantly, it sort of orients your mind. So the question we're going to ask today, because we're doing assessment, is, does Kim's chapter align with her MCS? And that's what we want to keep in the background, right? It either aligns with it in the sense that it's progressing the story that she's telling, because it's set in her head, her auteur's vision, or it doesn't. And if it doesn't align, then we sort of point that out. Then we sort of get to the second question, which is, what are there any issues that Kim needs to address? And then what is the biggest one? So I'm going to ask Ariel to lead comments on Kim. So whenever you're ready, please get started. And then Justin and I will chime in.
Awesome. Okay. I really liked this chapter. I love what it does. Like, it's really great conflict. I like how I just love like the movement of it, where it starts out and then where it ends. How I thought it was a great way to show like how Ammit's choice, or like how she's gonna get to Jade Mountain, it happens, but in a way that like she did not go according to plan, which I loved. That was fantastic. I also really loved Isamu karate chopping the log with no effect. That was pure brilliant. That was so funny. I just love Isamu so much. Okay. I'm gonna do just some like nitpicky things first. When like the footsteps are approaching, when like no one was really reacting to it at first, and that was like the demons and stuff. I was just like, oh, why is no one reacting to it? It seems to be happening, but no one's like checking on it. There's also a line where she says like she now realized she was never respected, only feared. But I feel like she kind of knew that already, like a few chapters ago, that she has known that. It wasn't just now that she's realized. And then I think the thing that the biggest thing for me, I was thinking about the most, is how she seemed to just like trust these demons that she met, like pretty readily, like told them the whole plan. And I don't know, for me, I was just like, girl, like, what are you doing? And that just might be a part of her like character. But in some ways, I almost felt like her decision making felt a bit reactive versus proactive in this setup. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just felt like she was giving a lot of information to people that like she really shouldn't trust at this point. Yeah, and just kind of, and I thought at the beginning her like not wanting Isamu and Parthenope to be a part of things made sense. It did feel a little bit repetitive from the last chapter, but I see what you're trying to do, but it did feel a little bit repetitive how it was kind of done. But overall, again, I really liked how at the end she's taken. I also just kind of wanted a reminder, because I think that was the plan. I think was the plan that she was going to get kidnapped, and I forgot about that until it happened. I was like, oh, I think this is what was supposed to happen. So just a little reminder of that. But yeah, that's what I got overall. Again, like really enjoyed like what happened, and by the end I was like, oh, like things are going, it's happening. So it was exciting.
Good. So Ariel, would you summarize the chapter in one sentence, please?
Yes. Let's see here. Ammit and friends choose to share their plan with some demons, which results in Ammit getting kidnapped and taken to Jade Mountain.
Okay, good. So let's ask the second question. Does this align with the overall story?
Yeah, I think it does. It gets us to that point in MCS of the fight happening. Seems
Okay.
like.
So she has this plan to overthrow, I can't remember what her name is. Who's the bad lady?
Lamashtu.
All right. She has this plan to overthrow Lamashtu. This is sort of a way to get to Lamashtu. Question, Ariel, is that enough for a chapter? Yes or no? Or maybe?
I thought so. I thought it made sense for this.
Good. All right. Justin, you're up.
Yeah, Kim, I agree on a lot of the notes that Ariel already gave. Maybe 1 second, just trying to slow down. All of my stuff is operating at half speed today. but you know, that I was thinking about that too. I'd forgotten that the plan was for her to get captured. And I was thinking about it. I was like, you know, if the plan wasn't for her to get captured, then I liked how this chapter roller coastered a bit, you know, where it kind of like, because I definitely went through the strokes of being like, oh, these demons are kind of switching sides really easily too. Like, and then, you know, their own flip, I was kind of like, oh, okay, great. That makes sense. They're not really, you know, flipping. They have their own plans going on, which was nice, and it read really well. I think there's like two different ways that you could go about this chapter. There's the version where she's not necessarily supposed to get captured, and this happens like unexpectedly. But if the point is that like that they're almost trying to get her captured, I feel like this could be a funnier chapter of performance to some extent. Like if you know, like maybe even just caricatures of themselves, like where, like, because I thought about this when I was writing down the note of like, you know, I agree with Ariel. It feels a little repetitive with like the way that she's continuously being like, oh, don't do this, but it's like, or don't follow me and all these things like that. But I was like, it's almost, it opens you up to this also option, this funny option where she's a caricature of herself because they're inviting in these people to come and capture her, right? There's one of my favorite animated shows of all time, Avatar: The Last Airbender, where right before the like finale of the show, they have what you would consider a filler episode, but like honestly, the show has no filler episodes. It's fantastic, where they go to a play, and they find people in the enemy territory playing themselves, like people that like are playing these caricatures of themselves, and it's just a silly episode, but like allows for that time to be like, you know, I don't know. The thing being saying like, I think if the goal here is that like they're specifically trying to get captured, then it might need to be a bit more like lean into that a bit more. If not, then you got to lean the other way. But right now, it feels like you're kind of like plowing right through a crossroads instead of choosing one or the other. Other than that, I mean, I love your dialogue is always fantastic, and obviously your descriptors as well. But I always come back for your dialogue. So if you're ever putting that in your value triangle, I always put that very high for yourself. So yeah, that's it for me.
Good. Excellent. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Ariel. So you covered all the specific comments I was going to cover, so no need to repeat this. In detail, it is a bit repetitive, in my opinion, right? This conversation happened. So Justin offers one path, inject more humor. And what's interesting is there's a second, more subtle path here is you get a chance to remind people of the story thus far and the theme. You can lean into that. The price you pay is what I think is the bigger issue you have to address, which is the point of the chapter, if Ariel's correct, and I think she is, in my view. More excitement, I mean, more intrigue, I don't know what you want to call it, but you almost have a Mission Impossible thing going on. So you need that subversion of the guards to be a little bit more impactful, a little bit longer and a little bit impactful relative to the part where they're discussing whether or not Ammit's friends should risk their lives. And you're good at this, right? So our job is to point out the sort of, I don't want to call it an imbalance, but I'll call it, you could pay more attention to the value in this chapter, because I don't think the discussion as to whether, you know, she can risk anything happening to her friends is providing a lot at this point in the story. So background question, this is a funny story. It is also a thriller. right? So put some words into bumping up the thriller aspect of the last part would be the recommendation. All right. Thoughts, Kim?
Nope, that was all very helpful. Right now, because I feel like I'm in the phase of I'm seeing what I need to rewrite, and I feel like there's stuff I'm rewriting. So what's been in past chapters, I'm moving to different chapters. So like, I know it's repetitive, but I'm gonna cut that stuff out in like past chapters, so it's not like a continual kind of thing. And I feel like I'm in this juggling act of rewriting stuff in the past while still going forward. So it's all kind of meshing together. So it's nice to know what's landing and what's not landing and whatnot. So yeah, I feel like I'm just kind of in that messy stage of the novel where I'm moving forward while still fixing a lot of the stuff I've done, kind of stuff. So it's a little bit of a mess, but a good mess. So
Good. It's a great mess. It's a great mess.
it is.
No pun intended. Great writing.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the moment, great writing. So the question is one of allocating plot to chapter. So our saying is just enough story for each chapter. Not too much, not too little. So let me ask you this question.
Mhm.
Can you give us this chapter in a sentence?
Ammit and her friends start to implement the plan, and it goes completely sideways.
So give us a little bit more specifics.
Ammit and her
Just
friends.
enough.
Ammit and her friends go to implement the plan to convince the demons to leave Lamashtu and join forces with the gods. And they're going to free Inanna from Lamashtu's hostage hold so she can convince the gods to join with the demons. So they're getting that going.
So Ariel, can you say that in your own words? Reflect back to Kim what the sentence is for this chapter.
Ammit and friends attempt to convince these demons to be on their side because they're enacting the plan of trying to get Inanna broken out of prison so she can convince the gods to be on their side. And it goes sideways.
Good. Right. So it could be refined a bit more, but that's basically the sentence. And you'll notice, of course, it does not include anything about not risking her friends' lives. So that has to probably be its own chapter, right? Where they first embark on this rescue mission. And then it can be repeated, the theme of that, going alone versus going with friends, central to your theme, is going to be reminded as opposed to repeated, or reinforced as opposed to repeated. Great. Any last thoughts, Kim?
Is it worth next time we meet to kind of like submit like a chapter by chapter like summary so like I can kind of show?
Yeah,
because a lot has changed.
absolutely. So we have a tool currently called the continuity and value delivery spreadsheet. And the idea is every row is a chapter. There are 3 columns. The first column is essentially plot, where we put in the sentence that we tried to articulate for this chapter. The second row is whatever your second value is. So Kim's is humor. So whatever joke comes out in this chapter, we add that to the spreadsheet. And then the third column is something to do with the character's arc. So what do we learn about Ammit in this case? Where is she at? How's her thinking changing? So for you, because you're getting toward the end of the novel, it would be fine to present the first column of this and work through how the plot is getting spread across the final chapters of your draft.
Okay.
Does that answer the question?
Yep.
So, and here's the trick to that, or the piece of advice. Keep the synopsis of that chapter really short. 1 sentence max. You don't want to write a paragraph or a chapter because that gives your brain the opportunity to wander and add detail that is not central to the story. So one sentence. Remember, the MCS is about 6 to 8 sentences. Now you get to expand to 30 to 35 sentences. So you're already tripling your MCS. And that's enough to lay out the scope of your entire novel. So I'd like to look at that along with the chapter next time, if that's okay. And if you want, you could rewrite this one, or you can move on to the next one. All right, great. Thank you, Kim.
Bardsy delivers the tools, guidance, and support you need to produce compelling novels. Our well-researched and thoroughly tested approach includes our minimum complete story, a 90-second exercise that keeps your writing on track while fueling creativity. Bardsy Publishability Index, a 23-dimension checklist that offers attainable goals and provides actionable feedback. And our brand new comprehensive character developer that helps you construct unforgettable characters. Come see for yourself at Bardsy.com today. Try our workshop or enter our first chapter contest. Then, when you're ready, Elite Membership delivers writing groups, personal coaching, and a curated community. With Bardsy, your work will captivate everyone, from agents to publishers, and, most importantly, your readers.